First, just to mention above checkbox of OBE, I would not say it was an OBE but more an extension of own being to this encounter. Perhaps describable by a surgeon's scalpel becoming a part of him when in theater. Almost like not letting go between the encounter, holding on with an imaginary hand. I cannot explain it other than to say it started off slowly and hazy, and gradually cleared up to crystal clear clarity, but stayed gradual or stuck in time, very difficult to explain. Once the haze had cleared, the light was extremely bright and white but not hurtful to my eyes. And definitely not the sun kind of light where it is or would be warm or scalding in this case. It felt like I had enhanced sight and was very astute to my surroundings. There was no climate pertaining to weather. Once clear, it was instant that the light mentioned surrounded what I now fondly call my morph. This is my own way of embracing her with humor. She stood in front of me in the light. It felt like I was looking through a camera lens, as that is the extent of the picture or encounter. It is all within a range of around 15 meters from me, maximum. I am inside an enclosure, possibly the tunnel, but no beginning, no end, no sides nor roof or floor. Yet I know that there is something above, below, behind and to my left and right, surrounding me. I am however not touching the ground, but it is there. Beyond my morph is not visible as the light surrounds her totally. She has on a white blouse, not fancy, not a t-shirt but a casual blouse, but it is distinct white even with the surrounding white light. She is clouded or hazed waist down. She is between 18 and 25 years old, maybe younger. Not older. I call her my morph because she resembles two, possibly three people morphed into one. So, we will call them by name of who they look like. She is bigger than me, 45 kilograms, but smaller than my personal admin manager, Eleanor, who is quite hefty, 100 to 120 kilograms. She is approximately the size of my best friend, who I fondly call Sissy, as she has been in my life since she was 12 and is now 39, about 70 kilograms. She could be 80 kilograms to be more exact. She has a bob hairstyle with a fringe that is cut just above her eyebrows. It is dark brown to black but very shiny or in good condition. If I took Eleanor's face and my own and morphed them into one and added my Sissy's freckles she had when younger. This is what she looks like, only the younger version. Her skin tone is pale but not sickly pale in complexion. I do plan to ask my aunt to show me as many photos as possible of my family in their younger years. But she did not remind me of anyone I knew in the past or current, besides as mentioned. I was totally calm, at peace, pain, suffering and discomfort free, no longer weary, unafraid and amused, at my morph. The whole event was not within earthly time but in fact slower or stationary, hanging. Being a bit of introvert, I enjoy my own space but spend way too much time on work. So this was ideal as it slowed me down, chilled feeling, and comfortable in that small space, camera lens feeling. I know I was no longer on Earth but again hanging in the balance of mid-air, encapsulated in my bubble. I believe this was a way for me to be told, slow down, take it easy on yourself, stop taking on so much. I did not look at my morph as a spiritual being. But the surroundings felt godly, peaceful, calm and very quiet, quiet being something I crave for pertaining to my overactive thoughts. She however did not resemble what I thought God would look like. There were no sounds or noise. No voices, not even background sounds. That image does not get closer or move out of the camera lens. I cannot see myself but there is an invisible something, camera perhaps, in front of me. There is also an undrawn line below me, I cannot see below me but I know it is there. So an undrawn line on the ground that is not there but I know they are both there. My morph is not happy per se, she however is also not angry, she is straight face but not hardened. Not intimidating but has a certain spunk about her. Whatever is behind her which I cannot see due to the white light is not for me to see. And her spunk is not going to allow me to go past her, but she is totally non-aggressive, almost amusing. On Earth, I would be more defiant and want to defeat anything that stands in my way, yet this was very different. I believe between my morph, this imaginary line below me, and the camera, I was being held back from moving forward toward my morph. On awakening from this encounter, I immediately thought it was a dream or that the medication I was on was really powerful. The medication being last resort medication are known to fairly toxic. Something didn't fit well with me with my immediate thoughts or assumptions. Unbeknown to me, I had discussed this with my husband after being discharged but have no recollection of it. He was however also in a poor state from my illness and the worries of losing me. He is not an atheist per se, as when meeting him 8 to 9 years ago he only believed in a maker. He then started to refer to that maker as God over the years but had never prayed until I was on my deathbed. He said it was the first time in his life he had prayed meaningfully, and he asked God to spare me. He said he could feel my impending death and was desperate to not lose me. What my husband told me is that what I had discussed with him was in relation to another death I had been affiliated with. Shadon was born with a liver, biliary, related problem. He is Sissy's late son. They said he would not make his first Christmas, and he was born on the May 4, 2003. Shadon not only made his first Christmas, he made his 5th birthday and passed away on the June 13, 2008. I was laying alongside Shadon most of his last days as he was at home, as Sissy didn't want him to pass in a hospice. He was being administered drugs from home to alleviate pain as he would be in a hospice. After around 10 p.m. of the night of the June 13, 2008, I changed Shadon's nappy and knew this was nearing the end. He had gone into a comatose state around 3 p.m. that afternoon. When I arrived at the house that day, we shared a lemon twist cool drink and pomegranate seeds, which he referred to as vrugs, Afrikaans for fruit in miniature form or baby-type talk. The days preceding his were insightful. He was laying on the bed with me and started pointing at the dresser and laughing a lot. I asked him what he was laughing at. I was immediately amused and elated just to hear him laughing, as it was so special. In reply, translated to English, he told me about the angel on the dressing table and kept saying to me, "Look," and laughing his little head off. Sissy and I discussed this recently, and she reminded me of another incident where he was showing her goldfish in the fish bowl, which were not there, and resulted in her going to buy goldfish for him. The difference here is Shadon was wide awake while these encounters happened. Now unbeknown to me that I had shared this experience with my husband on leaving hospital. Although I haven't delved on how deeply I discussed it with him, and am unsure how much he would remember due to his own fragile state, but I will when I feel the connection to do so. I felt alone, and I felt no one would believe me. On the April 1, 19, I asked Sissy if she believes in the death tunnel, but she didn't answer. So I took it as a sign not to speak about it. She later revealed she missed the message. I then asked her again on the January 25, 19, to which she replied, yes, she does believe in it fully. I however clamped up again and said I would speak to her when I was ready. She was patient. An opportunity arose for me to speak a little more about it with my husband over a month ago. Maybe even 2 months, but he came across as disinterested, in my opinion, or possibly just out of his league of discussion or interest. He also never mentioned the part that I had already discussed it with him when leaving hospital. Then on the July 5, 19, I spoke to Sissy properly and was relieved with her support. I then managed to tell my youngest son, 21, the next day, and he was also supportive, albeit not totally understanding of it. I realized I was not alone. Just over a week ago I spoke to my husband again and I told him I felt he was not supportive, but he said he did listen. And that is when he mentioned me speaking to him about Shadon when I came out of hospital. He asked me if I felt it, meaning death, as he did. I replied, yes. He however then confused Eleanor with Sissy, so I'm unsure if he did listen or is just absent-minded. It however does not bother me if he does not completely understand it, as I believe I am on the right platform here. And am reading my second Jeffrey Long book. Although I did read God and the Afterlife first and have now started on the former. And despite already having read a little including the part where it says that it is beneficial to first read the book. Then fill in this form, I seem to think I wanted to express myself first as if I had any doubt in my mind about an NDE. It was perfectly clear to me after just reading the introduction that it was real. And will forever have an impact on my existence.